Hi everyone, how you all doing? Now what's his body language on Holly Willoughby? What's it all about? The arm straight down and the other arm comes across. Now, can I presume that the sweater that she's wearing is causing her to be a bit itchy? And so she needs a scratch? I volunteered to scratch it. There you go. Will that do? You perv. Look, how many men over the last few years have probably had the old five-finger shuffle over Holly Willoughby? I know that's crude, but I'm just being honest. You know, she's a bit of a doll. But this isn't about her today. This is about how I believe that the mainstream media, for ITV, BBC, CNN, and countless others, that the writing is on the wall as to whether they can survive now. Everybody's going to say, oh, you're overreacting. They'll go on forever. But they won't. Because less and less people actually believe in what they say. And more people are listening to bigger YouTube stations. You know, your Russell Brands, your Hugo Talks, your Redacted, and all the new ones are coming through. And people are getting their information from sources that they believe are actually going to the trouble of giving them some truth, unlike the BBC, unlike ITV, who just follow a script. I mean, wasn't she just following a script the other day? What a script she was following. You know, it was just written by a lawyer, handed to her, and she just reads it out. So there's nothing's coming from the heart. At least with your YouTube truth seekers that are going around now, everything's coming from here. Everything they believe. You'll be saying, oh, no, some of them are just con merchants and they're just after getting your money. Not all. That's just not true. I know some that don't even monetize, but they still go out and truth seek and try and get some truth over to as many people as possible, and they're not remotely interested in making money out of it. And that's a good thing, because that really kind of proves a person's true intention, doesn't it? If what comes first to them is getting that truth out, and then if they're successful, then maybe make a business out of it. But I tell you, I don't think in the years to come that ITV and the BBC, I mean, nobody wants to pay the BBC licence anymore, because they're just sick of the way the BBC protects all these lowlifes, all these child, you know, the despicable ones in life. And so people are saying, well, why should I be paying my licence to an organisation that is doing nothing about it? And they obviously aren't doing anything about it because they just won't get rid of that Eric Gill statue. I mean, the number of people that have campaigned for them to get rid of it, but they won't get rid of it. It's almost like they're just trying to protect all these lowlifes. Savile, Harris, all of them. Of course, a lot of them now bit the dust, but very few of them end up in prison while they're still alive. They normally just allow them to have the freedom to abuse one after the other and to live a life of luxury. Now, in only one case, I can only presume it's because of the royal connections. Savile had those royal connections. Coming and going. Garden parties. Smoozing with BBC top execs. At the royal garden parties. And that's why he went on so long undetected. Operation U-Tree. What a joke that was. Keir Starmer couldn't find enough to convict or to proceed against Savile. Yeah, I think he was told, look somewhere else, mate. You're not going to do the job right on this one. You're going to make a few mistakes. And then in the coming years, when people bring it to your attention, you're just going to pass it off and just say, we didn't have enough. We couldn't proceed against him. We needed more. Oh, there was plenty. There was plenty, but it just went away. Conveniently. And then they allowed the bastard to die. Well, peeps, where's it all going from here? What's happening with this war in Ukraine? When will there be total involvement with the NATO forces? I don't think that that's far off now. If they're going to be supplying high-end weaponry and planes and the like, then certainly they're going to be a target. But I don't want to be a target in a war, in a modern war. Most of us just want to go to work to provide for our families. We don't want to have to concern ourselves with the fact that we might have to go to war for a third and final time. Yes, it'll be a third and final war. And there won't be another war after this one. Because man will have to learn war no more. He will have to learn not to go to war. And he'll have to beat his swords into plowshares. Yes, a biblical reference. And that's because that's where it's going. We just can't keep wiping ourselves out. We need to learn to live together, side by side. But the news at the moment from all the independent stations, notice how I say independent stations and I don't say mainstream media, because the mainstream media is just a bog. You start looking at what they say and you're in quicksand. It's just a bog. You'll never get out if you put your trust in them. So, I think their time of world domination, media domination, I think it'll come to an end. I just hope Prince Harry, I'm going to call him Prince Harry, he's still Prince Harry to me. I think he did make the right decision to leave the UK. I think a man has every right to protect his family. I'm not bothered about what's going on in this courtroom at the moment. I'm just thinking about a family man who just doesn't want intrusion, the paparazzi outside his house morning, noon and night. It's not worth it. If I was in this position, I would have given up my royal duties as well. I'd have said, stuff that for a game of soldiers. It ain't worth it. Fame and fortune always comes with a price, doesn't it? And it looked like it did with his mother. And he doesn't want it to be, go on repeat. Stuck on repeat. And that's what would happen. So I don't share everybody else's opinion about Harry. I don't really care much about Meghan. Care more about Harry because I kind of brought up with what was going on with his life and everything else. So I'm not going to get involved with Meghan's side of things because I don't know enough about her. For me, it's Harry. I think he's got the right to bring it to everybody's attention just how much he's been maligned, how much he's been wronged. Yes, it might have mentally scarred him. I think that's pretty obvious that he was pretty scarred. He kind of admitted that, didn't he, really? He probably had a lot of sleepless nights thinking about how the same thing can happen to him that happened to his mother. Look, none of us have been in the situation that he's been in. None of us. But everybody's so quick, aren't they, to put him down. I just don't want to do that. Even when he was being a knobhead, when he was growing up as a teenager and he was dressing up as an SS officer, yes, it was hijinks. Something I wouldn't do. But I didn't condemn him then. And I didn't condemn him when he started smoking a bit, a bit of weed. The only one I really dislike more than anything is Andrew, Prince Andrew. I'm pretty damn glad that guy got his comeuppance. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this great leveller where money will no longer separate us because there won't be any money because it'll have gone. Which I think is going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. Give it time. I mean, they're going over to digital currency for a reason, so that they can keep tabs on everybody, aren't they? So that when you put your credentials in, or your card, they'll know where you are morning, noon and night, what you've had for breakfast, everything you've done. And if you upset them, the establishment, they just go, and you're cut off from the system, and you're going to starve to death then. What a world. What a world we live in. Anyway, let's give Holly a scratch. If that's what you want, Holly, a little scratch, make you feel better. So someone said to me the other day, they said, Martin, you're a forgiving person, aren't you? I said, well, that depends. They said, well, what percentage of forgiveness would you extend to Holly Willoughby? I said, about 7 inches. See y'all.